Hello, my fellow Marvel nerds. We're going to get into the fights in just a minute. I'll give you the breakdown of each fight as I do them. But in the meantime, I'm just going to give you an overview. So I had 9 fights this war. Well, first of all, this war was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Daddy Longlegs over there, man, his planning was kind of a nightmare. Shout out to him for that. They banned Apocalypse, Ghost, and Doom, which was not typical. So it threw us off and it made planning kind of a headache. But I had 9 fights this war. I had, let's see, Chavez and Immortal Abomination on 5A, and then ManThing on the Power Snack Mini, Yellow Jacket after that, Domino and Symbiote Supreme on 7B, and then Apocalypse at the end, and then Storm Pyramid X on the Safeguard Mini, and end it with Void on the Hazard Shift Mini. It was pretty tough, not gonna lie. I was a little afraid of Chavez because she likes to just throw that heavy out in space. But the plan there was to not knock her down, really. Use the attack tactics, the alternating combo to proc the withers, and just let the power stings put in work. That was the strategy. Immortal Abomination, he's pretty straightforward with She-Hulk. I'll go over that. ManThing on the Power Snack Mini, pretty straightforward with She-Hulk as well. I mean, he just falls like potatoes. Anywho, let's get into it. So, Chavez, overboost, that's what it's about at this level. I went with an invulnerability because I was confident I was going to get hit in the face. So yeah, the strategy here was basically just parry a bunch and stack the withers with alternating combos. There I go, getting hit. I had to settle in, get comfortable. Parry the L1s instead of evade, trying to avoid the dex buff as best I can. Wasn't sure how much, if any, MD, but just assume it's maxed at this level. But yeah, stacking the withers, just basically saving for the L3 to get me out of any trouble, more or less. Didn't want to knock her down because she goes debuff immune for 10 seconds or whatever it is. I just didn't want to deal with that. So yeah, the strategy, just keep hitting her, stack debuffs from withers and parries for the power stings, and just let her kill herself. I think that only goes unblockable if she has 3 stacks of one of her dimensions. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's something to that effect. So I knew it wasn't going to be unblockable, so that's why I blocked it with confidence, I might add. So yeah, just kind of letting her kill herself. I mean, this was the first fight of the war. It was pretty much the one I was most afraid of. But yeah, finished her off with an L3. Style points, didn't need to. Could have just let her kill herself with the power stings and taken less time, but what are you going to do? So the next fight was Immortal Abomination. Again, it's pretty straightforward. Carried over the invulnerability here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there it is. 10 seconds left. Let's do this. I think I got smacked a few times, but ultimately, nothing really hard about the fight. She's, poison immune. Use the slow to stack the power stings quick like. And, I mean, honestly, you can pretty much heal to full and stay there from his L1 and that petrify. It heals some. There we go with the wake ups. Dash in. I think oh yeah, that's where I missed the parry. That's always fun. Gotta eat this. Right on block. That feels good. Not too bad though. Save the L3. Try to avoid the L2 from him because it hurts on block. So I want to try to get him to bait the L1 here, shoot the L1 off, and then the plan was to L3 after that. There it is. Keep him below 2 bars of power while I put in some work. There we go. Get 2 sweet heavies in there, and then he kills himself. Just like that. Alright, now we got ManThing. Now I placed a petrify here. In hindsight, I really didn't need to. These withers, I'm really still figuring these out, and they really are powerful if you stack them. And you'll see later on in in this fight, he actually, when he hits 50%, he reverses his own power. I know it's in combination with the petrify, but man, those withers, there's something else. They interact really, really well with She-Hulk's kit and Mr. Fantastic's energy. So anyway, I used a petrify pre-fight here. I wanted to save 2 for Void, the Siphon and the petrify, which would leave me 1 for 7B and then Apocalypse at the end of that. And I wasn't certain which one I wanted to use on which fight. But I'll get to that. Anywho, so there it is right there. Look at that. Those withers and that petrify, he just drains his own power from power reserve. Or no, not power reserve. What was it? Whatever the 50% thing is. Forgot the name of the node ability. But yeah, basically just going to town. Trying to alternate the combos, lights, mediums. Let him kill himself with the power stings. Style points for the L3. Sure, add another 10 seconds. Worth it. Now we move over to... Oh yeah, Yellow Jacket. Forgot about him. Actually, we had one person assigned to take him, but he only had this one fight, and I just suggested I'll take him so he could save boosts. There's no reason for him to take him for one fight. I mean, She-Hulk's as good or better than Mole Man for this fight. You get slow up and ignore or evade, and if you do get tagged by any of the power stings, you'll shrug it because she shrugs for science, so you'll shrug it before it has time to do anything. So yeah, basically just keep slow up. I think I stacked some withers here, just for practice. Really, didn't really need to. Just proximal power. Boot to the face. Back off. Slow. Reapply. Corner spam. Man, those Furies. Everyone forgets about the taunt. You know, I don't even, the attack increase is great, but that taunt is so powerful. It keeps the flow of the match going and just lets the power stings just add up. Drop kick. So, yep, next fight we got, this is, the following day. We got Domino. Nimrod just absolutely crushes her. I didn't opt for the invulnerability because whenever possible I like to do the advanced power boost. It just allows things to go much faster. But I did a 33% L3 because he can just tank L3s all day from basically all mutants. Especially if you have a nice armor stack. and he's bleed immune, so like her L3 wouldn't do anything. Wasn't worried at all. Spite, doesn't matter. Missed a parry there. There we go. And I'm not sure, but maybe that lucky reduced some of the shock damage there. I don't know. Dash in with a wake up L1. So she can't do anything. She has to get up and either block or, as the AI often does, they'll get up and just scramble frantically, and you're throwing an L1 right in their face. Symbiote Supreme next. Thought about using Mr. Fantastic pre-fight on him, but just doesn't need it. She-Hulk doesn't need it, especially with power down, petrify, L1 start, and she already kills Mystics, especially him, so fast. So opted not. I opted to save that for Apocalypse on the next fight. This one goes pretty quick. I don't even think I get a chance to do any corner abuse. Just get him in the corner, drop the L2, start reversing, maybe bait a few. I mean, she doesn't even need Furies against this guy. Just mashes him. Oh man. I could have been corner spamming with the heavy, but why? Look at that. 40 seconds. I'll take it. Now this fight, I wasn't too worried about it. He really does just crush all mutants, save Bishop. Haven't really had a chance to fight him much anywhere with Nimrod just to test, but I know that it doesn't usually work out so well. He has some kind of purify energy damage thing going on. But yeah, I make a couple mistakes here. Well, my first mistake, totally dumbass. I read this node 20 times. I've fought this node a handful of times, and I know that an indestructible comes up whenever I reach level 2, but sure enough, L2, drop the L2 right as I get it, indestructible. But even with just a tail end of those shocks, you can see that Apocalypse takes probably 20-30% of his health just from a few of the shocks. So yeah, basically, and then right here is this. Yeah, I took that right into the dome. I was trying to parry his L1, I think, and I guess I forgot how fast it comes out. Maybe I was thinking the L2 with his little ball pellets, but yeah, but it didn't matter, Got a little cornered, but man, he's got the technology, They fire a special, he puts, I think, a power drain on him, some other debuff, cowardice or something. Yeah, not too big a deal. Alright, now we got Storm Pyramid X. This was actually an audible. Someone else was assigned to this, but I was already boosted, and someone suggested, one of our planners was like, wow, well, you feel comfortable taking it? I was like, yeah, I don't see any issues with the node. And as it turns out, I mean, probably the best counter for her on this node, or, I mean, as is often the case with any mutant. Just parry a bunch. I think I got to a nice 16 stack of armors. And if I remember correctly, each armor equates to more damage from his passive shot or something to that effect. So yeah. And then you got a nice power sting there. Yeah, good heavy out in the open. Idiot. Ballsy, really. But she didn't even counter, so whatever. Yeah, parry, get back up to 10 so I can get into Eradicate Protocol, and then this doesn't kill her, but it does come close. I think she power stings, and then I gotta get my heavy in. Still no, huh? Alright, one more heavy. Just because it looks awesome. Crushed. All things crushed. But this next fight, this was the one I was excited about. This was a really good placement. We couldn't figure out a reliable counter here. Mole Man, but you know, when he gets in a frenzy, he can get all that debuff junk on him, and it can be a problem, especially on Hazard Shift. With Voids, he's got almost 3,000 health, 300,000 health on this node. Ridiculous. But it's no match for She-Hulk. Oh, yeah. 200, 200. Here we go. I went with Siphon pre-fight and Petrify, like I said earlier. The Siphon, just to mitigate any of the incinerates that I may get on me. If she doesn't purify, you can see all those purifies right there. All the purify callouts. So good. But yeah, counter the L1, dash in so I can just keep refreshing those. And then we go with some corner spam here because that's how I operate. I always test, you know. I challenge the AI. You guys stand your ground. If not, well, corner abuse. And the thing is that I don't even know if, I mean, they could have had stand your ground. You can see how the AI lunges every time I heavied, almost, I think every time on this, in this fight, they lunge. So they wouldn't have been blocking anyway. So it's hard to tell. But either way, I like to challenge, you know, challenge them to see if the players got stand your ground, because She-Hulk will take full advantage if they don't. Look at all those purifies. Oh, it's just wonderful. Get wrecked. Fury stack. Right there was actually supposed to be, I was going to counter the first hit of that heavy into that L2, but I backed off. I don't know what happened. But either way, man, bodied. Just bodied. Well, I think that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the commentary.